How's it going, y'all? Right here is Eden Prairie Center, aptly named, right here where I am, which is Flying Cloud Drive and Regional Center Road. And it's pretty much fundamentally the center of Eden Prairie. Very clever. That said, today's video is a virtual tour of Eden Prairie, Minnesota, one of my favorite spots in all of the Twin Cities. It really is a beautiful place. It has amazing geography and just kind of one of the most complete suburbs. I just can't wait to show it to you. Let's go. How's it going, y'all? Apologies for the wind, but it's a beautiful day nonetheless. My name is Jesse Lynch, and I run the hardest working real estate team in the game. We're called To the Twin Cities, and you can check out our website, tothetwincities.com. But this YouTube channel, it's all about helping you find a place to call home, a place to land here in the beautiful Twin Cities of Minnesota. Today specifically, Eden Prairie. That's whether you're buying a house for the first time or you're relocating here from a different city, state, country, planet, dimension, whatever it is. First time home buyers and relocations, that's what we do, and that's what we do better than anybody else. So if either of those things appeal to you, do us both a favor, subscribe to this channel and click that bell so you can get notified every time we put out a video just like this. And if you wouldn't mind, give the video a thumbs up, say something nice, funny, helpful in the comments. Would appreciate that so much. And I say this every video, but I mean it, especially if you are thinking about moving here. Get a hold of us and we will crush it for you. Eden Prairie, awesome, but there's so many great spots to live here in the Twin Cities. You can go to our website, tothetwincities.com. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in mere moments, or you can shoot us an email directly to info@tothetwincities.com. They lead to the same inbox, so it's completely up to you. Okay, so first of all, look at this view. That is the Minnesota River, which basically separates Eden Prairie from Shakopee. We also have a virtual tour on Shakopee, and Eden Prairie is so great. I'm so excited. It's truly one of my favorite suburbs in all of the Twin Cities. If you have watched this channel for a long time, you may know that we did a virtual tour on Eden Prairie about 2 years ago. It was the first video that Nick was ever in as he was brand new to the team, and it was extremely cold out. But we thought that we really should redo it again just to show off kind of how beautiful it is, show off the beauty of Eden Prairie, because that cold, it really didn't quite do it full justice. So I'm gonna meet up with Nick again. We're gonna talk through this whole situation, Eden Prairie. We're gonna show you around. Make sure you watch the experience video when we put it out in just a few days, and hope you enjoy. Let's go for a drive, meet up with Nick in just a second. Y'all, right now we're at Bryant Lake Regional Park. It is wildly windy out.
So windy.
Just so randomly extremely windy out. There's a paddleboard guy over there who looks so sad. He's like, I can't do this.
He's been here for 20 minutes,
Yeah,
just like contemplating.
Am I gonna do this? Yeah, it's like, I don't think so, dude. You need a sail or something.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but we thought, all right, let's kind of, rather than walking along the lakeshore, which that lakeshore is actually in the first video that we did. I think I walked out on the ice. That sounds like me.
Did you?
I think so.
You're not thinking of Starring Lake?
Well, I'm pretty sure here, but I don't know, whatever, doesn't matter.
One of the two.
Yeah, and so we just wanted to come here. This is a beautiful regional park. Talk about the golf course a little bit.
Golf course, oh, we'll get into it. Bryant Lake, frisbee golf, disc golf for those aficionados. It's one of the nicest in the Twin Cities. You do pay a $5 fee. You've got paved concrete tee boxes. You've got a bag/coat rack, a bench, a garbage and a recycling bin at each and every tee box. And they even keep a little straw broom on each one.
Dang.
it's kind of overkill.
I love it though.
But for $5, it's worth it.
Yeah, that seems in line with like how nice the area is. Also, I mean, this like park building is beautiful.
That's Eden Prairie.
That
it's
is
just really nice here.
That is, yeah, that is in line, on brand for Eden Prairie for sure.
Plethora of really nice park spaces. I think this is included in Three Rivers.
I think you're right.
Don't quote me on that,
Yeah.
but lots of places like that around Eden Prairie. The list of green spaces that we could have gone to today is quite long.
Yeah, for sure. I was at a couple, I think I was at one earlier. It's just such a beautiful spot. So I used to actually work here for like 4 years. I used to build sets and kind of like photo assist. Different world, different time of my life entirely. Nick used to work here as well.
Yeah, I was a server / bartender over Redstone, Eden Prairie. Shout out, one of the best restaurants.
Shout out.
Shout out, hey man. It's a great place. I just ate there the other night, but at
Nice.
the taco location. Anyway, that said, geographically, Eden Prairie is located, I would consider this the southwest metro.
Yep.
Butts up to Chanhassen, where I am from. Check out the Chanhassen video. Your borders are going to be roughly as follows. The eastern border is going to be Highway 169. I'm going to go counterclockwise. To the northeast, you've got Edina, kind of over there, where 62 meets 169. To the north, 62. And then the west, it goes all the way over to Dell Road, which butts up to Chanhassen by Lotus Lake.
What about south?
South all the way down to the river.
See, because he starts at east and goes counterclockwise, you're going to lose track.
My brain works different.
That's so wacky.
Never eat soggy waffles. Should I have gone clockwise so that would have made you happier?
Ever neat.
Never eat soggy waffles. Here, let's wait for these folks to go. So some distances. We're really close to a lot of highways. We're just off of 212 here, which turns into 62. We're kind of on the close to that northeastern border, but at any rate, you've got about 15 to 20 minutes to MSP, pending traffic. 62 can be kind of a beast. To Minneapolis proper, you're looking 25, 30, pending traffic again, and then to St. Paul, you know, tack on another 10 to 15, depending on what way you're taking in. So pretty accessible despite being out here.
Yeah, I would say so. I used to live in St. Paul when I worked here. It's kind of a bit of a hike, but most people would live, you know, on the western side of the metro and work over here. Yeah, from St. Paul all the way to here was 40 minutes, you know, most days. It's not too bad. And that's like during rush hour, so really not too bad. Population here, 65-ish thousand, pretty big in the grand scheme of things, 15th largest in the state. According to niche.com, it's the second best suburb to live in all of Minnesota, and the third best place to raise a family in Minnesota. And the schools here, chef's kiss. What do you think?
They're fantastic. I mean, really across the board from kindergarten all the way up through high school.
Yeah.
You're looking at an A average.
Yeah.
Without even getting into the individual schools, they're just really solid.
A+, honestly.
A+.
Yeah.
And one thing worth noting, we do get a lot of people that say they come here because our schools are just fantastic when compared to the national.
Yeah.
But within the metro itself, the further west you go, you're going to start getting into those top 3, top 5.
Yeah.
What some would call maybe elite schools. They're just really, really good.
Yep, like Eden Prairie always makes the list of top 5 school districts in the cities or the state, honestly, perpetually in that top 5.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you have access to Minnetonka Public School District. It's an A+. Eden Prairie Public School District, A+, that serves most of it. Hopkins Public Schools gets an A. It's only a small sliver of Eden Prairie, but still Hopkins School, good. As of the time of shooting this video, according to niche.com, it is ranked the 3rd best school district in Minnesota. So, and the 142nd best school district in the entire US. That's pretty good. Those numbers are not too shabby. You have Eden Prairie Public High School, senior high school, that gets an A+. Again, like 3rd best public high school in Minnesota, 4th best college public high school in all of Minnesota. And again, some sections of Eden Prairie are going to be served by Minnetonka and Hopkins, depending on exactly where you are. Mostly the sort of northern and eastern parts,
Yep.
Respectively.
Yep.
Middle schools, you have Central Middle School, that gets an A. You have Minnetonka Public Middle School, that gets an A+. Hopkins West Junior High gets a B. Elementary schools, there's tons of elementary schools here.
Got Scenic Heights in there. I know Scenic Heights for sure. I grew up not far from there.
I don't see that actually.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'm sure it's in here. We don't talk about it. There's so many.
It's for sure there.
Yeah, and we've had people who it's like schools are #1 priority very recently.
Yeah.
And Eden Prairie is on the top list, and specifically with an elementary school age kid. And Eden Prairie scored very, very high marks in their opinion. You also have Hennepin Technical College, technically within the Eden Prairie borders.
And I don't think I'm making this up, but I'm pretty sure there are a handful of immersion schools within Eden Prairie as well. I could be thinking of Minnetonka, but I believe there's a handful.
I'm sure there are, and also private schools as well. So very, very, very good public school ratings. And that's one of the biggest things I think that make it so desirable, which actually leads to the prices. It's definitely more expensive than most here in Eden Prairie for somewhat obvious reasons. It's obviously very nice. But so when it comes down to prices,
so the median sale price, and this is going to be across all property types in Eden Prairie, is $433,000. It's going to be a little bit skewed because of some of the condos, townhomes, things like that. Your detached single family is going to be higher than that, most likely.
Yeah.
But I mean, considering the quality of life out here, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, you can get a single family in the 4s.
Oh, certainly.
But not really in the 3s.
No.
Yeah,
that's becoming harder to find anywhere.
Yeah, true. In any of these like 2nd or 3rd ring suburbs, for sure.
Well, and I'm just going to toss this caveat on. What I know about Eden Prairie, a large majority of the inventory is that late 80s through early 2000s. You've got bigger houses, the 3-car garage, the 4th, 5th bedroom.
Big.
There's some of that, 60s, 70s inventory. That's more toward the north when you start bordering on Minnetonka. So it's there, but keep that in mind as well. The inventory is newer, it's larger. That also plays a part.
For sure, larger. Yeah, the most expensive home on the market right now is $4.5 million. It's probably
it's got to be in Bear Path.
Yeah, we assume it's in Bear Path, which is like a private community.
Yeah, it's gated.
It's wild.
It's one of the few legitimate gated communities in Minnesota.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we don't have that many. That is.
We've had people ask us about it.
Yeah, and it's
even North Oaks, not gated.
We can help you, but we need a reason to go in there.
Yeah.
We'd love to just take video, but
I've been in a few times touring folks, and I have to show them my card and credentials. It'd be like that over there.
Yeah, so so that's what you're looking for out of a community, one that cards random adult men.
Yeah,
cool. That's a good spot.
Fun fact, used to be home to a lot of the Minnesota Vikings when the practice facilities were in Eden Prairie before they moved over to Egan.
Yes.
Fun fact.
Yep, for sure. There's still kind of the remnants of that place, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, a beautiful spot with, for how much it costs, it's such an incredible lifestyle that people really, really like. A lot of the people that we help sort of are targeting this area, which again is why we're doing this again. We did it in the winter, freezing our butts off. Nick's first video ever.
It's been a while.
Yeah, remember how cold our hands got?
Well, you were wearing like this.
Yeah, well, it didn't matter.
I had full parka.
And you were still as cold as me, so.
You're an absolute savage.
But okay, we're gonna go for a drive, and then we're gonna talk through pros and cons of Eden Prairie, and let's go. All right, y'all, right now we are in a neighborhood that we just think is such a good example of some of like the nicest, kind of most charming version of what Eden Prairie has to offer. What a cool neighborhood. We're about to walk by, it's fall, autumn, we're about to walk by this tree.
It's ridiculous.
It looks like it's in a movie. This whole neighborhood feels like a movie.
It's like Aspen Golden. Is that a maple?
It's a maple, yeah. It's beautiful.
Looks like 2 lungs. You should get a shot of it.
On the way back.
We'll walk.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, take our word for it.
Well, they'll see in the background.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we're talking pros and cons of living in Eden Prairie. I'm just pay attention to what's behind us. It's a beautiful neighborhood, like just so well taken care of. First pro, it's obvious. I say it all the time. Very good schools. We mentioned it already. We're gonna breeze over it. Top 5 schools in the state all the time. So really, really good schools. And then I'm gonna say you know, kind of an obvious one because we've been here already, but really beautiful outdoor spaces. Like some of my favorite geography and sort of topography in all of the Twin Cities.
Yeah, so in line with what Jesse was saying, Eden Prairie, tons of outdoor spaces, very wooded, especially the residential areas. As you can see, if you're paying attention to the scenery behind us, that kind of goes in line with another pro for me. Great lot sizes.
And cool lots too, actually.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yep. You'll get, some of them will have a little bit of that bluff vibe, but a lot of them are very usable, flat-ish lots. But and also, the fact that these neighborhoods are so wooded, a lot of them can feel very private.
Yeah.
I know we're talking about Eden Prairie, but it does remind me of, you know, a little bit of Minnetonka as well.
Yeah.
Kind of up by that Glen Lake golf course where the border is. At any rate, lots of privacy, big lots, and the setback is going to be a little bit greater out here from your neighbors as opposed to some of the interior, you know, suburbs, cities proper.
Yeah, I think you have, also you kind of have like interesting homes, right? Like that's like an interesting house.
It's like mid-century.
Yeah, and you know, so kind of cool, like inspired homes because they're old enough to be interesting. Like, you know, again, they're maybe some of these were cookie cutter at one point in time, but this neighborhood is far from cookie cutter at this point.
Yeah, especially where we're at. There are some neighborhoods like we mentioned earlier that were, you know, 70s, 80s, but a lot of these were like custom built. You'd have a builder that would build all these, but they would work more with the homeowner as opposed to some of these newer developments where it's just it truly is cookie cutter. And a lot of those even kind of a dirt road, but they have the HOAs where like you can, you know, only so many paint colors and styles. Not the case here.
Yeah, cedar roofing on that house, like it's just so cool. I think you also have very quiet neighborhoods, except when we're walking around it. Quiet neighborhoods. It's like the kind of place where like you could play street hockey in the cul-de-sac. Yeah. You know, like, which I was like so much of my childhood. Maybe baseball. Once I threw a baseball bat and hit my friend in the face.
Oh no.
Whoops, my bad. Yeah, which way do we go? There's, it's like choose your own adventure. Let's go this way.
We're going to the cul-de-sac.
So beautiful over here. But yeah, so just that quiet street, that like coziness, but like feels calm. Statistically, it's safe, right?
Very safe. We just walked by a neighborhood watch sign.
There's one right there too. Out here. Yeah, and statistically it's safe. And you know, I always say safe is a relative term.
Sure.
I live in the cities. I don't feel unsafe, but you know, statistically, it errs on the side of safe. Yeah,
and I gotta toss this out there. It is the epitome of what we like to call trick-or-treatable. It's
absolutely.
What is the date today? Is it the 11th?
Yeah.
We're walking through the neighborhood. There's pumpkins on the stoops. It's go time.
Yeah.
People are getting ready, and this is the place to do it.
This might be a full candy bar neighborhood.
Oh, definitely. King size.
Yeah,
this is a king size neighborhood.
Yeah.
People don't skimp here.
Yeah, so nice. And yeah, that trick-or-treatable feel. Just such a big fan of that. And it feels like a movie. It feels like a movie where the kids would go trick-or-treating.
Yeah. Well, and you'll see, you know, lots of pride of ownership out here, not only from like an exterior maintenance standpoint, but you'll see some pretty ridiculous landscaping and people putting out the seasonal decorations out here. It's just, it's quintessential suburbia.
So great. There's actually kids playing in this like cul-de-sac island.
Would you call Eden Prairie Woodbury of the West?
Yeah, actually, I think that will make our for fans of for 100%. Sure.
It's nice.
Yeah,
it's just nice.
Yeah, and then so you have all that. You also have kind of like you have the home with characters. They're old enough, but you're still like a modern build. So mostly 1970s and newer, I would say, maybe 1965 and newer. And so you get like the driveway and the attached garage, tons of two-car garages actually.
But then you'll get some of these like third stall.
Yes.
And we've walked by a few. This one is a 2-1 orientation. We've seen some that are, you know, the triple single. And even like to make your point about the architecture, these two houses right here even almost have like Tudor vibes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of that old English look.
Yeah, there's like something architecturally interesting about, you know, a lot of the homes in this neighborhood and just kind of in Eden Prairie as a whole. Some of the coolest like late mid-century modern, so like the very like, you know, straight lines, that whole thing. Some of the coolest examples of that are in Eden Prairie. Older mid-century modern, Frank Lloyd Wright-ish, is more like a Golden Valley, maybe an Edina kind of thing. But out here, it's like just on the edge of that, where there's like homes that were modern in the 70s and they still feel pretty sweet. I'm a big fan of those.
Yeah, so you will see some of that contemporary modern, a little bit different. It's not that Frank Lloyd Wright kind of like boxy,
Yeah.
mid-century, but I don't know.
Like 80s modern.
Yeah.
Whatever that was. I think it's technically called contemporary. But yeah, and you have the kind of the modern builds and the modern amenities of the homes.
Yeah, yeah. Jesse was saying earlier about the driveway, the attached garage. Not only that, you're gonna have, you know, poured foundation, PVC sewers, so you're not worrying about tile or cast iron or anything like that. Most of these houses have architectural shingles. You don't have a 3-tab shingle. You've got some shakes here, a little more high maintenance, but you know, you've got those modern building products. You start to see the early use of spray foam and stuff like that.
The basements are poured. You're going to be able to finish them. They're going to be tall.
Yep.
You know, intended to be lived in at some point.
Yeah, the basements, if they're not finished, when you do finish them, there's potential to add value. And like Jesse said, the ceilings are not going to be like, we see some really cool basement remodels or like build outs in Mac Roland and Minneapolis, but those houses from the early and mid 1900s, you've got 6.5-foot ceilings in the basement, maybe some limestone, some block, you know, so
Yeah.
you're going to be more concerned with just room, and then moisture issues. Like you said, the 80s, 90s plus, they were built to be lived in the basement.
Yeah. And then and actually speaking, as a 6'4" guy, height in a basement, definitely important. But yeah, so then kind of on the convenience side of things, I think those are kind of the amenities of the home. As far as the amenities of the area, it's quite convenient from a suburban standpoint. You have tons of amenities like Costco, Target, the mall, like everything.
Everybody should know by now that I love Costco.
Yeah, Mr. Wash, I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, pretty much everything you need. You could probably never leave Eden Prairie and you would have everything you ever need.
Yeah.
You also have really, pretty good access to downtown.
Yeah.
You know, so to the cities for a suburb, it's pretty slick.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's 25 minutes.
And
We
the
were talking
airport,
about that earlier.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but not phenomenal. To us, under 30 is kind of the cutoff. Most of the clients we help, that's what they're saying.
And just toss this out here. Take this all with a grain of salt. We have people moving from metros all over the country. A timestamp on traveling means different things to different people.
Yes.
45 minutes gets you mostly anywhere you want to go from anywhere that you're at in our metro.
Yeah.
We have great highways.
Yeah, we've had people be like, yeah, anything within 45 minutes of downtown. We're like, that's everything.
45 minutes is like over a 30-mile drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
To give you some perspective.
For sure, it's a long distance, but yeah. And then I think last convenient side, it's not really here yet, is that the light rail is supposedly coming.
Nobody knows.
It's being built. It got delayed by like a couple years.
Is
so
it 2027 now or 2025?
I think it's 2027. So
they had been building this. It was in the works for years prior to COVID and work from home and all that. So it kind of changed the dynamic.
Yeah, it definitely got slowed down quite a bit. So that will, I think eventually make it here. But yeah, keep that in mind. They're right behind my house. They're currently working on the line that comes through
I think
here.
It's the green line, if I'm not mistaken.
No, there's already a green line.
I thought that they were extending it, though.
It's the southwest line.
Oh, the southwest line.
Yeah.
It's got a name, not a color.
Yeah.
Blue and green in the cities.
Why stick to, a naming convention at all? All right, let's pop over to cons. What do you got?
Yeah, so for cons, as you may have noticed, Jesse and I are walking in the street. Depends on where you're at. There are a few, but by and large, Eden Prairie's neighborhoods are not
Sidewalked.
They're not sidewalked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, it's interesting, right? And we said it's trick-or-treatable, but you're walking through people's yards for almost for sure.
And people aren't usually like cruising through these neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You see those signs in Minneapolis, 20 is plenty.
Yeah.
People are a little more respectful out here, just because they're tend to be more children.
I think there is that standard set too. I think you might get yelled at, by an old guy. If you're speeding through the neighborhood.
Yeah, some old person shaking their fist at you.
Yeah.
Slow down.
And not very walkable as a whole.
No, People ask us, or they want walkability, and you know, we've obviously been out here taking a nice stroll, but you are not walking to get your groceries.
Yeah,
you're driving everywhere.
absolutely.
So that's definitely a con.
Yeah.
You need reliable transportation out here.
Yep, but you know, a lot of people are like, no, that's great. I want a separation between commercial spaces and the neighborhoods. It's very Woodbury-esque, actually.
Yeah.
But I kind of tend to agree. I like living in the city, close to stuff. I do love the idea of like having that separation between everything. And we've seen a lot of people out walking, you know,
oh, yeah.
And they're not like terrified because they're walking on the street. It's pretty chill in general. Con number 3, I guess, or 2 or whatever, I don't know. I'm not going to count, is that it's expensive. Median home prices are considerably higher than the median.
Yep.
It's not crazy, like it's not absurdly expensive here, but it can be, you know, it can get pretty expensive out here.
It's not Wayzata or Edina, but I mean, you know, you're paying more out here. You just are.
Yeah, for sure you are. And then I think you're also, it's cookie cutter. Not the homes aren't cookie cutter, but the suburban amenities are cookie cutter. So you got a mall, it's pretty mall-y. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
you said earlier, like the best access to arts you have is the AMC in the mall, right? Which is true. Although I'm sure there's great art programs at the school.
They do have a Ferris wheel inside of the Shields.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, just saying.
I think I shot at that Shields.
You got to go all the way.
Video.
Yeah, that's where we went. You were in there doing. Yeah, that's funny.
I guess we go this way.
We have to go all the way over to Betty Dangers to get a Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
So just saying.
Yeah, you're close to Valley Fair too, actually.
Oh, here we go. Where as we hop on a sidewalk.
One random sidewalk. That's nice.
But definitely not on the level that you would get in Edina, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Where like every neighborhood has a sidewalk.
Yeah, even like I grew up in Apple Valley. Everywhere had a sidewalk. You know, it's just certain eras I think that homes are built. And this is also like quite of a hilly neighborhood. It just seems like that was not the priority. And honestly, it looks beautiful. Like those houses look great without it.
Or they just put the sidewalks on like the main thoroughfare through like the neighborhoods with these little kickoffs.
Yeah.
That might be what it is.
For sure. God, this wind.
Yeah, it's windy.
It's crazy.
See, look at this. I mean, this is,
it
looks like a, you know, would you call that Tudor?
Nah, maybe, yeah. I don't know, traditional, almost Bavarian looking, but super cool. And this is the kind of thing where, you know, it's hard to find in a lot of suburbs. Like these like more interesting style of homes. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so cookie cutter suburban amenities, cookie cutter stores and restaurants and stuff like that. But not really cookie cutter neighborhoods. You got any other cons?
I do. We chatted about it a little bit earlier. It's kind of the flip side of the, you know, a lot of these houses are 1970s are the oldest, but you've got a lot of late 80s, 90s. You have newer building practices, but that said, these neighborhoods are starting to approach, you know, 30, 35 plus years old.
50 sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. But you'll have maybe that original furnace. The windows are starting to show a little bit of, you know, wear and tear.
Yeah.
Same with your air conditioning unit, whatever it might be. They're kind of hitting that threshold where they're no longer like newish, which was like what, 20, 25 years old.
Yeah, I think, I always say like a home built in like 1998, that it's like, well, hold on to your hat. You're almost for sure gonna have to replace your furnace and your roof and your windows like pretty soon. This are a little bit older, but I think you also have a lot of one owner homes.
Look at
here.
This. I'm sorry, I'm just, this tree is like,
that's beautiful.
It's like ombre.
All right, let me do this. Yeah, this tree is what Nick's talking about. That's beautiful. But yeah, you're gonna find, like he said, you know, windows that are original to the house. And so maybe there's beautiful architecture, but it's all sort of like right on the edge of where it needs to be replaced. And we're saying you have one owner homes where have not updated it. So it's gonna look dated on the inside, even though it's beautiful and immaculately cared for. A lot of the houses that we show, the buyers are like, it needs updates.
You got that 90s red oak, you got the Formica in the kitchen, you know, you got the carpet that's original.
Yeah, you might actually run into these homes having been updated in the 90s, which now feels dated.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I think last couple cons, rush hour can suck a little bit here. You're just far enough out that it sort of squeezes. Like getting onto 62 specifically, we're at 212 to 62. It slows down a lot. Actually, right before Edina, it slows down a lot. I made that drive a lot. That's why I know that. And then you have some uninspired business districts, kind of warehousey areas.
Yeah.
That's where I worked. And
Over
it's like
by Anderson Lakes, it's
yeah,
a little industrial.
off 169. And it's
Mostly
not like
apartments, townhomes, condos.
but it's like
But they're
just
there.
it's just warehouses. You know, it's not like ugly like smokestacks and anything like that. It's just kind of ugly. You know, it's just ugly single 1 or 2 story warehouses. It's just, I don't know, not that exciting. But all in all, again, I've said this already, I think Eden Prairie is one of the most beautiful suburbs in the Twin Cities.
I agree.
I would put it probably top 5, just most aesthetically, you know, pleasing from a geographic, housing stock, neighborhood design type.
Absolutely agreed. Nothing to add. I love EP. It's nice.
Yeah.
Let's go for a drive, eh?
Hey.
Hey.
All right, right now I'm basically right by where I used to work here in Eden Prairie. It's a very sort of industrial section of Eden Prairie. There's also a place known as Golden Triangle, which is basically just home to a ton of big companies that you've heard of for sure, right? So if you look up Eden Prairie Golden Triangle on a map, you'll be able to see a lot of companies very, very nearby. And actually over here I can see there's a building kind of taller than all the other buildings. That's a company called Optum. There's a lot of tech, there's a lot of sort of advertising in this area in general. Optum is a big employer, but there are a lot of other very big employers, again, that you've heard of for sure. But if you are a watcher of this channel, you know that we have a section we call our For Fans of section, which is to say that if you like what you see here, you might want to check out these other areas because for whatever reason they vibe similarly or just have a lot of similarities in what they offer you as a resident of the area. And before I get into that, I would just like to say that if you are thinking about moving here, get a hold of us and we will crush it for you. You can go to our website, tothetwincities.com. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in like 30 seconds, or you can shoot us an email directly to info@tothetwincities.com. They lead to the same inbox, so it's completely up to you. But let's dive into the For Fans of section, these other areas that feel similarly to Eden Prairie, or that we have people who are considering Eden Prairie, but here are maybe 5 other spots that they are also considering because it offers a similar lifestyle. The first one I'm going to say is Edina. Edina is immediately to the sort of northeast of Eden Prairie. It's very, very well known as having some of the best schools in the entire state of Minnesota, as does Eden Prairie, and it's very, very nice, but a little older. But it offers you the potential to have a little bit more of an urban and older life, like if you were in sort of the Morningside neighborhood, which we're actually doing a virtual tour of relatively soon, just Morningside, Edina. The next is going to be Minnetonka. Again, Minnetonka and Eden Prairie are very often on the same list when we're talking to people. People are like, I like the idea of Eden Prairie, I like the idea of Minnetonka. That's so often a given because they offer so much of the same things. Beautiful natural spaces, very, very good schools, and just a little bit of like an elevated, dare I say, bougie sort of lifestyle. I don't mean that derogatively at all. And now with that, I would basically loop in anything, any city around Lake Minnetonka is going to have a lot of similarities to Minnetonka. So Wayzata, Deep Haven, Orono, etc. Another place that comes to mind is Chanhassen. Chanhassen, again, is where Nick grew up. It's just to the sort of southwest of Eden Prairie. So geographically, it's close. It's even a little bit further out, but you're going to get a little more house for your money. It's going to be a little bit chiller, actually quite a bit chiller, but you're still going to have this beautiful area. It's very much in this very beautiful section of the Twin Cities. Next up, I'm gonna move all the way over to the eastern side of the Twin Cities for Woodbury. Woodbury, again, if somebody isn't geographically tied to this area of the Twin Cities, Woodbury has a lot in common. Tons of suburban amenities, you know, very high-end homes, very highly rated schools, and generally pretty aesthetically, geographically beautiful. I tend to think Eden Prairie is a little bit more green and lush and kind of rolling hills, but Woodbury is definitely quite pretty as well. Then to the south, the one that comes to mind, if you're looking just due south of the metro, Lakeville comes to mind as being quite similar for just a lot of those same reasons. And then last one, bonus one, I think I said 5, I think this is 6, but the last sort of bonus spot, I'm gonna say is Plymouth, Minnesota, and maybe let me tie it into Maple Grove. Basically, those are the northwestern equivalents of what you get here in Eden Prairie. But all right, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to get notified so you can see when we put these videos out. And if you wouldn't mind, give the video a thumbs up. Say what's up to Nick in the comments. Appreciate you watching this so much. Shout out to everybody who we've been able to help in the last couple months. This whole year has been wild. This past 2 years of my life has been so crazy and so much fun. And I'm so grateful to everybody we've had the pleasure of working with. All right, y'all. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.